A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English because it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to A+ English. I'm Pat.
And I'm Elsie.
And we're on day 3 of our story article about watercress. And the writer, who I think is a teenage girl based on kind of how they're talking, is been really embarrassed by her family cutting watercress from a ditch, then serving it for dinner. She hates free things that are cheap and poor.
And at the dinner table, she refused to eat the vegetable.
She's not eating it. Now, this question, to warm us up, is going to relate to what we learn later. And it is, what do you know about your parents' lives when they were young?
Okay, what do I know about them?
You said your dad, his family are in Kaohsiung, so
right.
He grew up down in Kaohsiung?
He grew up in Kaohsiung, and my mom grew up in Taipei. And he came to Taipei to study.
Okay.
Right, and I think both their families were not rich. They were kind of poor.
All right, that's fairly normal. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. I know that my dad was born in Northern Ireland, so a different country to where he ended up. But he moved back to England in the UK when he was about 5 years old. And he grew up then, and I also know when he was younger, he had long hair and no beard, which is really strange. Because my dad has had a beard for about 40 years. I've never in my life seen him without a beard. I'd have to look at old pictures and it's like, is that my dad with no hair on his chin? It's so strange. And with long hair, like, it's just really weird. When he was younger, he liked to drive motorbikes.
Okay.
Yeah, so he kind of he was a bit of a rebel, maybe.
Yeah.
But became calm and became more sort of respectable.
What about your mom?
I think she was just a bit of trouble, to be honest.
Really?
I think she was a bit of trouble when she was younger. But also she grew up and stopped being quite so much trouble. Okay, what do you guys know about your parents? Something to think about as we go through day 3 of our article.
Watercress. Warm-up question. What do you know about your parents' lives when they were young?
Mom takes out an old photo.
My family from before.
She says, "We're surprised. She never talks about her China family." I look at the photo. It shows my mother as a girl, her parents, and a boy. The boy looks very thin.
My little brother, your uncle,
she says about the boy.
So remember, the family are at the dinner table and the maybe daughter is not happy about eating this dinner. Mom takes out an old photo. Maybe she's got a story to tell. And we see, my family from before, she says, as she shows them the photo. Do your parents have these kind of old photos hanging around that they will just take out?
There are a lot of photos in the photo albums, but
you've got albums.
We rarely look at them, though.
Yeah, my mum has a bunch of photo albums. She did like a yearly picture book for all me and my brothers until we were about 16 or maybe 18. She's still got them. I don't think they're on the shelves anymore, but they might be. But she's definitely still got them. I hope she's going to scan a lot of those old photos at some point, because it would be a shame if they were only physical ones. But maybe just actually being real photos kind of makes them special too.
Yeah, you can look through the photos.
Yeah, see how awkward and embarrassing I looked as a child. Yeah, I love that. And so the article continues, we're surprised, meaning her and her brother. She never talks about her China family. So why do you think this might be?
Maybe she doesn't think it's necessary to bring that up.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe if you don't talk about something, it's either because you don't see those family members anymore.
Right, maybe she doesn't even know them.
Yeah, maybe it's just been either a long time or they may not actually be alive anymore, and so you don't want to bring up those memories. Let's find out what it is. The article says, I look at the photo. It shows my mother as a girl, her parents, and a boy. Okay, so she can probably recognize what her mum looks like. Like, okay, that looks a bit like my mum, but younger. Do we look like our parents when they were younger? Have you ever tried to compare?
I think I look like my dad when he was younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like a real mix between both my parents.
Half?
Yeah, like the middle brother in my family looks way more like my mum. The youngest brother is way more like my dad.
You're in the middle.
I'm somewhere in the middle in terms of looks. The article continues and says, the boy looks very thin. My little brother, your uncle, she, mum, says about the boy. So I know you don't have any brothers or sisters, right?
I don't.
But are you do you have any uncles that you're close to? You see quite a lot of with cousins?
I have a few uncles, but I'm not close with them.
Not so close with them?
Not so close.
We're quite close. My mum's younger brother, he has 2 children that are kind of a similar age to me and my brothers. And my mum and her brother are really close. So we will see them 2 or 3 times a year, or like when I was in England, we would meet up around either birthdays, Christmases, plan. So we used to go on vacations together. We'd all go off as a group with my grandma. So there'd be like 10 of us all going on a vacation to somewhere as a big family. And everybody gets on and they're good fun. They like playing games. They like having, telling funny stories.
So you did like to hang out with them, huh?
Yeah, I still do. Still always like to catch up with them when I'm back in England.
Nice.
I saw them last summer and spent a couple of days with them. So it's always fun to hang out with my uncle and his wife and their 2 kids, and now other children as well. So that's partway through today's article. We're going to now take a short break.
He didn't survive the Great Famine.
I look from the photo to the watercress on the table. I feel bad for being ashamed of my family. I take a bite of the watercress. It's spicy and a little bitter, like Mom's memories of home. Together, we eat it all. We make a new memory of watercress.
So let's get back to the article, everyone. The mum is talking about the kid's uncle. And we know he looked thin, and she says he didn't survive the Great Famine.
Oh, what is famine?
A famine is when there is not enough food available for a long time across a very large area, almost the whole country.
So people were starved.
Exactly. Now, in China, in the 20th century, a lot of this happened like after the Second World War. Mao Zedong changed the rules about things and said, people should kill sparrows. But that meant the sparrows couldn't kill the bugs, and so nothing grew. And there was the whole of China had massive problems, and millions of people.
Why are you so familiar with Chinese history?
It's important history to know what went wrong, so people don't do that kind of thing again.
I believe I learned about that before, but I don't remember it.
Okay, it was a terrible disaster for China, terrible disaster for many, many people and families, unfortunately. The article continues, I look from the photo to the watercress on the table. I feel bad for being ashamed of my family. So does the writer have anything to be ashamed of, really?
Maybe because she was mean to her parents?
Yeah, I think she should be personally ashamed, but also she didn't know.
Right, she didn't know, but she could be more, she could be nicer to them. Yeah, more understanding.
She's certainly got nothing to be ashamed of that her family is poor or that her uncle passed away when he was young and that their family came from a poor background in China. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Millions of people have a similar kind of story.
Yes.
But the thing is, if she changes her behavior, then everything is okay. So the article continues, I take a bite of the watercress. It's spicy and a little bitter, like Mum's memories of home.
Wow.
So the garlic, of course, when you'd get the little spiciness from the garlic. I think the vegetables are a slightly bitter vegetable. Do you like spicy and bitter flavors in food?
I don't like bitter flavor, but I do sometimes like spicy flavor.
I quite like spicy.
How spicy can you?
I can go pretty spicy.
Really?
I like sometimes I've gone too far a few times, but generally I am okay with highly spicy food at times.
Do you like sweet food?
Not too, sweet's one of those I can only have a little bit of.
What about sour?
Not my favorite.
Oh, I like sour food.
Okay,
or
yeah.
like plums.
A little bit. A little bit sour is okay, but not too crazy sour. I quite like bitter. Like coffee, I'll take it black. That's kind of fine. I don't mind vegetables that have got that kind of taste to them. So I'm okay with that. So the article continues and says, together we eat it all. We make a new memory of watercress. So she's kind of realized now what's so important about collecting food, because in the past in China her family had to do that to survive, and it's now bringing back old memories, and now the family's got closer together because they understand everybody a little better. Maybe the mom and dad understand why she was embarrassed, but she understands why their parents are like this.
Yeah, they got closer.
Exactly. What meals remind us of family? You mentioned a Dougan one earlier.
Yeah, 什么就是炒豆干. It's like it's in the
like
dish.
Fried?
Like they're all like normal Chinese dishes, but they all remind me of my family.
Anything really special that sort of stands out apart from the Dougan?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the dishes my mom would cook.
Right.
Yeah.
Apart from my parents' bread that they make, so that always will remind me of
bread?
Like freshly baked bread coming out of the oven. The other one, she does this very nice like baked pasta dish with mushrooms and fresh basil. That always reminds me of home. That's something I'll almost always say, hey, if we're coming back for a couple of weeks, make this at some point. That kind of thing. Like make sure we make this with garlic bread on the side. Really tasty stuff. Well, that brings us to the end of the story, so I'm going to hand over to Elsie again to do some teaching, and then we'll come back for the final review time activity.
今天第一个单字是个名词 photo， 好，解释为照片或是相片，那也可以用 picture 来说。那你说某人的照片里面有他，那你可以说 a photo or a picture of somebody. 那当你要拍照的时候，搭配的动词是 take. You take a photo or you take a picture. 那摄影师啊，这个职业你要会说，它叫做 photographer. 那单字例句给的是呢 Lily keeps a photo of her puppy in her wallet. Lily 在钱包里面放一张她小狗狗的照片。再来第二个单字是形容词thin， 代表瘦的。好，那如果瘦到这种骨瘦如柴的感觉，好，我们可以用 skinny 来形容。那如果不是瘦，但是就是很苗条的感觉，那可以是 slim 或是fit， 好，这两个字可以来形容。那如果形容人是重的，当然用 heavy 或是 overweight。那如果形容小孩的话，圆圆胖胖的，你可以用 chubby 这个字。那单字例句给的是呢 Sarah is thin because she exercises regularly and eats a healthy diet. Sarah 身材苗条，因为她规律运动并吃得很健康。在第三个单字是动词 survive， 解释为幸存或是活下来。survive an attack， 那就是在攻击当中幸存下来。survive an accident， 那就是在意外当中幸存下来。那例句我们可以说 It's incredible that she survived the accident. 她在意外当中存活，实在是太令人难以置信了。那另外生还者那就是 survivor， 字尾会是 VOR 结尾的。那单字例句给的是呢 Linda was very sick for a month, but she survived and is better now. Linda 生重病1个月，但是她活了下来，现在好多了。再来最后一个单字，第四个是 bitter 这个形容词，苦的。什么东西可以用它来形容呢？比如说药啊、 pills. Dark chocolate 黑巧克力或者是 grapefruit 葡萄柚，有的时候吃起来也会苦苦的。那酸甜苦辣各是什么单字呢？酸的是 sour， 甜是 sweet， 然后苦的就是 bitter， 再来辣的是 spicy。那单字例句给的是呢 The medicine tasted bitter, so the little girl didn't want to take it. 这种药吃起来很苦，所以小女孩不肯吃。那 Magic Box 我们要讲到的是 feel bad for 或是 about 后面加上 bing， 代表因为做某事而感到难过。那如果是 something makes you feel bad， 那就是 make you feel sorry， 你会觉得很抱歉，好像是呢 I feel bad about letting my parents down， 让我父母失望，我感到很难过，很抱歉。
Review time.
So, for this activity, we have 12 different word power words we could look at. We don't need to do them all, but we've got 12 word power words from the last 3 days of article. We are going to challenge each other to make sentences using 2 or maybe 3.
You can do 3 for sure.
I can do 3. Okay, of these different words. So I will start off. I'll just give Elsie 2 to start off with. Okay, I'm going to give you the words remind and embarrass.
Embarrass.
Yeah, see if you can put those together.
This photo reminds me that how embarrassed I was in the game.
Okay. So
because I fell and hurt myself.
There we go. Okay. You want to hit me with a 2 or a 3?
Okay, let's do finally.
Finally, okay.
Thin and survive.
Finally, thin and survive. Okay. The man was trapped on an island. He barely found enough food to survive, so he became very thin, but finally he was able to get rescued and get back to his home.
So good.
Okay, and he had a volleyball, and it was Tom Hanks. There we go. Okay, I will give you the word tiny.
Tiny.
Vegetable.
Vegetable. Can I say when I was tiny? No.
You could. I'm sure you were tiny. Yeah.
When I was tiny and vegetable.
Yes.
Oh, I know. There is a tiny little bug in this dish, which has a lot of vegetables.
You should take it back and ask for your money back. Say, I can't eat this. It's got a tiny bug in it.
Or I can just take the bug out and eat the vegetables.
Up to you. Okay, you want to do one more for me?
Break.
Break.
Bitter.
Bitter. Okay. The taste bitter, right? Okay.
Gather.
Gather. Okay. Okay, I was making coffee, but the bag broke and spilled the coffee on the desk. I had to gather it up in order to make a cup of bitter coffee. It's kind of 2 sentences into a story there, but maybe there's a comma or something in between.
Yeah.
Bit of a cheat, but never mind.
Good enough.
Okay, that is all the time we have for everybody today. Thanks very much for being with us for this 3-day story. We will see you again soon. For A+ English, I'm Pat.
I'm Elsie.
And we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Magic Box.
I have always been planning to catch Peter Pan. 自从彼得潘害我切断了我的手之后，我就一直处心积虑的想抓住他。那个小屁孩真是太可恶了，竟然害我堂堂海盗船长变成了 Hook 船长。君子报仇3年不晚，我总有一天一定会报仇的啦。像是呢，我总是在计划，你有时候会打网球，他偶尔会去图书馆，总是有时候偶尔。中文里面很多这种在讲事情发生的频率的词汇，英文里面也有相对应的一票单字咯，它们呢就叫做频率副词。比方说我刚刚说呢 ，I have always been planning， 我一直以来总是在计划，已经好一段时间了。 这里的 always 啊，就是频率副词的一个哦。在认识有哪些频率副词之前，我们先了解一下频率副词怎么使用。你只要记得呢，在句子里面呢，它的位置呢是在一般动词之前、be 动词以及助动词之后就可以啦。比方说啊，刚刚说呢，你们下课平常都是打篮球，但是有时候会打网球。You usually play basketball. You sometimes play tennis. 我们呢就放在打球的动词 play 的前面哦。那打完球之后呢，你们总是很饿哦。You are always hungry after a game. 我们呢就放在 be 动词的之后，这个呢就是频率副词在句子里面的位置啦。现在呢，我们知道了在句子里面怎么使用，接下来呢就来看看有哪一些频率副词吧。刚刚看过了 always 就是总是哦，100%一定会发生的。比方说啊，我 Hook 船长每天起床呢都要优雅的来一杯咖啡哦。I always have a cup of coffee in the morning. 少一点点发生的呢，你就可以说 usually 时常。I usually have my coffee with milk. 我通常呢会加牛奶，但是呢可能1个礼拜里面有1、2天是没有加牛奶的，喝黑咖啡咯。I often read the newspaper while drinking my coffee. 我在喝咖啡的时候呢，经常呢会读一下报纸。经常呢，我们就用这个字 often， 就表示呢10次里面大概有6次会这样做。那再少一点呢，我们就可以使用 sometimes。sometimes 就是有时候。I sometimes have my coffee with a piece of cheesecake. 我有时候喝咖啡呢会配这个 cheesecake 起司蛋糕。Sometimes 就是一半一半，有时候。更少发生的事情啊，我们就可以使用 seldom， 中文呢就翻译为偶尔、偶一为之哦，不是很常发生的事情。I seldom have 2 cups of coffee in the morning. 我偶尔呢早上会喝2杯咖啡。最后啊，不曾发生的事情呢就是 never。I never drink my coffee with sugar. 我从来不加糖的哦，0%。OK， 不曾发生的就是 never。这些呢就是频率副词，希望啊你也记起来喽。